when you're done.
Yep, you have the permission.
Okay. So I'm actually recording now. So great. So while on air, good morning, good afternoon, good part of day, good evening to everyone. Gene Gandel from New York City, Large Scale Scrum Meetup. Dana Pulaeva is my helper, assistant, co-lead, and coach. Today is the working session. We're going to look at some of the options of combining various virtual collaboration media, specifically Zoom. That's we're all on Zoom at the moment, and the Miro Board. Miro Board is one of the tools that are available out there to bring people together real time and collaborate. So what I'll do first, I will share my screen. So today's session is about system modeling. Specifically, we're going to use an example of causal loop diagrams. System model, a very powerful system modeling technique that we use in large scale Scrum, as well as other, in other cases where we need to expose system dynamics and various system variables and discuss them. And we're going to use it in combination with Zoom and some of the bells and whistles of Zoom that will make our group converge and diverge into smaller teams, okay? And Dana is going to help me with that. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and please tell me what you're seeing. First, let's make sure we see the same thing. And then we're going to do some tricks here, okay? So I'm going to share. I'm going to share my Miro board. So we're going to start with a Miro board. Everyone should be able to see my Miro board now. And my kind ask for everyone who is so Terry's thumbs up, and I see others are also saying okay. My ask to everyone is, please do not go to another board which is configured for the class, which is happening later this week. I know we made it wide open, it's almost public, but please treat it as as a commonwealth. Don't take advantage of it, okay? So on this board, and the one we're on right now, that's you're free to work your stuff. So first, let me dive right into, let me move this out of the way. Let me dive right into what a causal loop diagram is and what does it mean to talk about system dynamics in the context of pretty much anything, not just large scale Scrum. So everyone understands the difference between causation and correlation, right? A causation and a correlation is when two events happen completely independently. Like sun is shining and the stock market is open. These are two completely independent events, have nothing to do with one another. It just so happens they have coincided the time when they start. We call it correlation. A causation would be something else, something when we see a clear cause and effect relationship. For instance, sun is shining and rain is coming down, and there is some delayed effect. In a few days, a flower is flourishing. That's a causation. One thing has caused something downstream. We use the same exact approach when we model the system, but we don't care as much about correlation because those things could happen anytime, pretty much always they happen. We care about a causation. We care about cause and effect relationships between different events within the organizational ecosystem. What you're looking at right now is the snippet from the less.work site where there is an illustration of some of the cause and effect relationships between different system variables. Here's an example. There's an organizational system optimizing goal, as we call it, to get rewards. It will lead to, and this is the arrow that shows it, it will lead to creating pressure on people, on teams to gain numbers. This will subsequently lead to the degree of measurement dysfunction growing and not seeing really what's happening in the system. So when one goes up, the other one goes up. It's not the opposite, it's in the same direction. One is high, another one is high. One is low, another one is low. Here's an example of the opposite relationship, and O stands for an opposite. It's the nomenclature that we use. Degree of measurement dysfunction will have the opposite effect an ability to guide and improve the whole system. Hopefully this everyone is clear on this one. So this, just again, a small side note, this exercise is about introducing system dynamics and system modeling as an exercise, as well as playing with it on Miro board in different teams, which is a combination of, you know, trying to kill two birds with one stone. Here's another example of the goal: higher feature velocity. Immediately we'll have a positive effect on pressure to try actions for higher feature velocity. So one is high, the other one is high. So notice here, pressure to try actions for higher feature velocity has dual impact. From the goal, getting rewards. People want to have high velocity because they're rewarded for high velocity. And there's a high feature velocity as an individual goal. Now look at this causal loop. Feature velocity will have a positive effect of number of defects. It's like a bumpy road. The faster you move, the more bumps you're going to encounter. As the number of defects grows, it's going to have a negative effect. Also, it's for an opposite, the opposite effect on feature velocity. Make sense so far? Maybe head nodding or no? Okay. Here's an example of number of developers, and there's a question mark. What would really happen if you added more developers into your system, into your organizational system? Would it increase or decrease feature velocity? Of course, there was Conway's law, and there was there was a Brooks law that you can always rely on and say, hey, you add more developers to the project that is already late, it's going to come even later. So of course, number of developers does not automatically increase your velocity unless you bring in a few very skilled, very talented developers that can really improve engineering practices. But now if you just add a lot of unskilled developers, they're going to introduce more bugs and more problems, and your velocity is going to drop. So this is actually a stabilizing loop here. As number goes up, velocity goes down. As velocity goes down, defects should drop. So it's kind of self-stabilizing loop. Here's an example of a cache supply. Cache supply has some impact on the number of developers you can have in the organization. C, as in Charlie, stands for constraint. A cache supply will have a constraint on the number of developers you can bring. You can always ask, what kind of constraint? Is it an equal constraint on both skilled and unskilled, or highly skilled or low skilled developers? The guess would be no, not the same. If you have a low cache supply, most likely you will be able to afford lower quality people and not going to be able to afford as much high quality people. So then the cascading effect would be on feature velocity. Okay. So far, we jump right into this, and hopefully you all read the system thinking page, unless that works as we asked. So this should be okay to introduce, right? And these are some of the abbreviations, some of the call them acronyms or symbols that we use to annotate, call them annotations if you will, to annotate your system modeling schema or system modeling picture, if you will. Okay, goals, the boxes, variables, constraints. These are the constraints, the links themselves, the arrows. Opposite effect, delayed effect is the pipe. We don't have it here, but if you have a pipe like so, then it's going to be a delayed effect. Extreme effect usually is shown by a thick arrow. Constraints we covered is a C. Something's called a quick fix, QF. Sometimes you have an impact of one variable on the other that is a quick fix. What do you do if you are running low on the project? Well, we're going to throw in more developers. That's a quick fix. And we can now work backwards from that and think, what does it really mean organizationally, systemically? Is it going to be a sustainable pace? Will you be creating goodness or not down the road? Right. So I'm going to, so far it was more of a bit of a theory just to get you comfortable with just to get you reacquainted with this, although you probably have seen this. Now, from now on, for the next 40 minutes, this is going to be all exercise. So I'm going to ask everyone to look at this pane, this section of my screen. There are 12 panes, and we have how many people in the queue, Dana?
So we have 71 people in the queue in a meeting. So if you can create another 5.
Another 5 boards. Okay, someone can help me. So this is learning on the fly how to use the tool. Now we're switching from concepts to tooling. So this is how I'm going to create another pane. So how many people per team do you recommend having, Dana?
I'm thinking at least no more than 4.
No more than 4. So that explains why we have. So I'm going. So you see the up to 12 teams. Then there was a copy of team 10, 10, 10. So you probably want to rename this into your respective team. It will be team 13, 14, and 15, and 17, right? So that's what you asked, 4 more teams. So now I'm going to ask one. So the rule.
Actually, one more. Jean, one more.
One more.
So we have 18 teams.
Okay. Good. All right. So once everyone is sent to their respective team rooms, and Dana has control over this, and she's going to do it. Please self-organize as you would in Scrum. So yeah, someone is typing. Self-organize and decide who is going to grab one of these and drag it and run with it. Just run with it to the other side of the canvas, so that no one bothers you, and expand it there a little bit. And what you're going to see there, so first of all, this is going to be your work area, right? So your team and this little pane. Once you move out of the way, you can actually delete the pane if you want, because it's going to be a little kludgy. You can do this, like you can highlight, and if you delete, it's going to disappear. Okay, you know, highlight, delete, is going to disappear. And then these yellow stickies are your system variables. So I prepared a bunch of system variables for you that are kind of related to one another, although there is no one best solution how to connect them. And although you may argue that, hey, there are some variables that are missing, or in my organization, this is not much of a factor, these are the ones you want to start with. So I'm just making this easy for you. And once we go through this together, let's time box ourselves. I'm going to give you a suggested key at the end, okay? To you, Dana, because now people want to start doing it. And you can use these, and I'm sorry, these arrows and zeros you can use. You can just copy it and paste them. You can use the left side bar to create an arrow and make this, you know, you can play with it. You can figure out how to play with it and make it wavy. Or you can just copy paste the ones that I have created just to save you time. Okay? So is it a good time to start? When you grab the pane, make sure you grab it so that you highlight it first, and then you drag it. And drag to the, yep.
I believe we are missing the editor rights on the board.
I got kicked out.
View only, Jean.
I only have view only, no editors, right?
No, it is right. Let me,
It looks like it's asking us to sign up in order to be granted any kind of editing rights.
It should. We had, hold on, give me 1 second.
I clicked on request editor's access. I'm not sure what that is or where it goes.
So I'm going to go to permissions, and I think people should be able to. Invitation settings. How about now? Can you try now? I set it up to the highest.
Nothing is changed for me.
Oh, still says view only.
Everything is the same, Gene. Like I'm trying to go to copy the team and change the team 13, 14, and 15, but it's not letting me in there.
It doesn't let you drop.
We cannot move the individual team boxes.
It says view only.
Correct, view only.
Yeah,
I did send a request over to you.
If you can go to the the Miro board, the specific one, and settings for that
I'm in
board.
settings actually now. If you see my board, I'm actually.
Yeah, I see, but you are checking the team members, but you can go to the specific board and there's list of the participants. You can change that.
So this one is the board.
Yeah, there's like a share button there, and you will see all the people.
Let's see. Share.
Yep.
Here, I saw it pop up on top.
On the top.
This. Maybe this. How about now?
Let's see.
Fix it?
No, I don't think you changed the share, Gene. If you click on share, I think it allows you to change the permissions. Top one.
The what?
Top on share.
I just did that.
Yeah, and then you have to change the
public access.
There's a can view, you can change to can edit from the public access.
Public access can edit. Drop down, can view.
Drop
down.
Drop
down.
down.
Right. Down.
Yes.
Right. Down.
Right
That
or
one.
hot, yes. But you need.
No, not this now.
Ah.
No, it shouldn't be the
It's
case.
made.
It should not be the case. We have done this. Can edit, intention to T. Can view.
Yeah, this is the one.
All right, I don't know what else to fix here.
So Gene, but it shows public access. Do you see
What?
that? So do you see the option?
Can view, change it to can.
Yeah, actually, I got kicked out completely.
Yeah, me too. It says access revoked and it kicked me out of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same here.
I think I toggled this on and off. That's why. My apology. Try to access it again.
Still view only.
Oh, maybe there's a way for the facilitators to model the exercise for.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm gonna have left. Yeah.
Gene, do you want to try just copying the link and sending it in the chat, and maybe that changes that? Have we tried that?
Let's try doing that.
So we try sending.
Guys, can I add something? There's two links. One is for public view without sign in, and this cannot be open as an edit mode because you need to buy the higher license. But you have the second link to share, but this is only for sign people into more mobile. So, Gene, if you can please come back to the sharing option.
The sharing
is on the right side.
I was about to share the link. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to.
Sure.
Chat. Okay, I'm pinging to everyone the Miro board link. See if you can try to access it this way. So I'm sorry, you were saying.
Okay, Gene. When you come back to the sharing from this board, as you can see, there is two links. One for copy and can edit on the top. Yes, this one. But that will require the sign in. So anyone can edit, but need to be signed into the Miro. And second one is like a public, but this can be only view.
This one?
Yes, so this one, if you can share with the people on the chat, so anyone who has access in Miro, so account in the Miro, can be even free account, can edit.
Well, this one has no URL. This one has URL. I just sent another URL. Could you try the long link that I just sent?
So Gene, basically with the link you're sending, people need to create a free account. They need to sign in.
That's right. So this is free for sure, but people do need to.
The second link works.
Yes, it works.
The second link works.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Excellent. Okay. Whew. I don't recall running the class last week and anyone having trouble or having to set up anything. All right, so back to the board, guys.
So what do we do?
So now back to the instructions, and I see people already. Oh, all right. So what you do? So first, Dana, could you please send everyone off? As soon as Dana sends you all to small teams, decide with your team who's gonna grab one of these predefined, pre-created panes and stickies and move it to some, some far corner and start playing with it. So these variables is what you need to play with and try to put them in the logical sequence of upstream, downstream dependency, and effectively create a causal loop diagram, create a system model. Okay.
But you will let us know which team we're on.
Dana is once you're gonna go in that team virtually on Zoom just in a second.
Can I give you everyone instructions what to do? Here's the next step. So once you go into breakout rooms, do you know what you need to be doing there? Once you're there with your team, everyone is clear what they're going to be doing in Miro, right?
I think so. I think we've said it.
Type +1 in the chat if you know what you're going to be doing. Type -1 if you have no clue.
Yeah, let's just send them off, and we're gonna reiterate. We're gonna have what, like 20 minutes? Let's do like, 7, 7, and 7 minutes. 3 iterations.
Okay. So, Jim, can you check the chat? Because some people are still not able to edit. Some people are still having a little bit of confusion. So for those of you who have a little bit of confusion, we're going to right now be in a small group. The group is going to be 3 people only. I'm going to send you to those breakout rooms, and I'm going to mute everyone for now. So I'm going to send you to those breakout rooms. Take a minute to introduce yourself to your partners and then start the conversation and then start modeling together. So don't try to do it by just one person. Have a conversation about what you're trying to do and how to model all these causal loop diagrams. Once you're in the breakout room, if you have a question, there is a way for you to ask for help. There's a button. So when you click that button, I will get notification, and between me and Jean, we'll make sure that we help you. Okay? And if you join the room and there is nobody there, give it 30 seconds. I'll see how I can move people around if someone is not joining. But right now, I'm going to click a button, and that will open the breakout rooms for you. And you will be automatically taken into your new breakout rooms. You will not see me, you will not see the 70 people, you will only see 2 other people in your breakout room, okay? And we're going to take, I think Jim said 10 minutes. Yes? Gina,
let's just send them off. 10, 10, and 10, 10, and maybe 5 and 5.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good. All right, go, see you in a bit.
Hello? Dinesh, Igor, you guys are on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So we're a team. I'm gonna be popping in and out. I'm gonna be going from one team to another. So Dinesh, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, it would be good if you. So I'm not sure if you're gonna be just on audio or video as well.
My laptop is not having camera.
Fine. Okay, so you have Igor here, who's your teammate. So which team? We are room 11, right? Room 11 means team 11. Yeah. You want to grab that, take ownership of that team 11 pane. I'm actually sharing my screen so you can see where I'm at. Take it and grab it and move it to some other corner where you can play with it. And you can sneak peek. You can cheat a little bit, see what others are doing, but you want to grab your stuff and move it as fast as you can.
You said you are sharing something, but I don't see anything being shared in the room.
No, what I'm saying is, do you have access to the Miro board? Yes or no?
Yes, I have.
You do. You should look and you should go and find pane number 11 that has a bunch of sticky notes on it. This is your pane. This is your frame. Move it to some corner where you have some extra space, and start putting together the board, the variables, the yellow stickies, into a causal loop.
Igor, do you see the team 11? Because I don't see it on the Miro board.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you see
On
the team 11? So I see a few guys running around your team, your board, but this is not you. Let me share for you what I see. Take a look. Do you see my screen now? You should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this says team 11. Rob Davis, so for some reason, is hovering around this. Grab team 11, move it out, and play with it.
Okay.
What should we?
Why I don't see it here?
When
I go in, I don't see.
Igor, did you hear what I said? Take the pane, the entire pane with the variables, move it to some comfortable place, and start exploring the causal loop diagram concept that I just introduced.
Okay, so we should make this diagram that you show us, yeah?
It's not going to be the same diagram because this is a completely different system, different variables. So this is where you and sorry, Rajesh? Ganesh, I'm sorry. You and Ganesh need to discuss how you would put this together. Let me ask you a question. Did you read system thinking page that I sent across last night and the day before? I sent it twice. Did you have a chance to review the system thinking page on les.work?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, so maybe that's why it's challenging. So what I described just a few minutes ago is one of the examples how a causal loop diagram could be put together. And now you are just playing around. You just experimenting with the scene.
I tried to move it to a different place, but it gets stuck on one corner.
So I'm going to say it again because I explained it. If you see my screen, you first have to click on it so it highlights, and then you move the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm moving this, but you are moving, Gene. That's what I'm moving.
No, I'm not going to move it. You move. Yeah, I just showed you.
Yeah, so if you see, now you would be seeing that I'm moving it, right? But it gets stuck here. It doesn't go beyond this. And then it is a lot of people are there.
What is the final, could you specify what is the final goal? Like, what is the definition of done of this exercise?
The goal of this exercise is to create a causal loop diagram. It doesn't have to be perfect. And what I explained 5 minutes ago was an example of taking system variables and connected them with different arrows. Do you see the arrows up there? So in other words,
I'm trying to take it to a different corner, but it just gets stuck in between.
All right, look, let me help you. Let me help you.
Yeah.
I'm taking the whole thing and I'm going to move it. Maybe because there's so many people there. Like I said, you
that's what
you
is
have to
happening.
move it to a place. You have to move it to a place. When no
I've been trying to move this to a place where we can start discussion, but like a lot of people keep hovering on top of it, right?
Well, they shouldn't bug you because they just hover over. So see, I moved ours where no one bugs us. So I'm going to remove the pane. Now we don't need it. I'm going to increase the view, and now you can read these things, right? So here's a system optimizing goal. So I want you guys to try to put these into logical sequence. You understand what I'm saying? What leads to what? This is the goal. This is the so-called definition of done. There's really no definition of done, but there's a goal to put these in the some sort of a relationship. What leads to what? Okay.
Yeah.
You can take
and now I can see it on your screen, but how do I reach this place on my board?
I'm sorry, which place?
On Miro board, where
You have
okay,
to scroll the whole board. See what I do? You can scroll the whole board. You scroll the whole board by making it into a hand and scroll and just.
Where we can find our board, because you somewhere put it. And trying to find.
Let me say.
Scroll it. You have to scroll it side to side. You have to grab it like this and scroll it. You see what I'm doing? I'm sharing your screen with you. So if you grab it, you just look for it. Look for it. That's why I wanted you to do it, so you don't have to follow me. It's a challenging exercise when you have 60 people moving around. But you know what? If you can't figure out on your own, see what others are doing. Others are actually getting the hang of it.
Okay. Could we have?
So I started share of my screen and I can move it around, but like finding where is the team 11 gone.
So I removed the frame, so you're not going to see team 11. In the bottom right corner, there is a legend. There is a heat map. Maybe you want to increase it. You at 4%. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see anything.
So I guess I found. I'll put. I'll take care of it.
Egor, I see you moving around where I am. So you found it, right?
Yeah. I'm putting like this. It's our
space. Okay, you're gonna put the. Fine, I'm helping you. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay, I guess we will succeed.
Yeah. So let's just give it a few minutes and think about this. I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit, and you guys talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So Igor, I am still not able to find the board on my screen.
Yeah. So I can share my screen, but
you can start share. Let me stop.
But you can check it's at the bottom. It had not any limit things. I can put, if you need, I can put just team 11, so you can find. Okay. So I'll put team 11, and hopefully you'll find.
Okay, can you start share, that way we can share the screen?
Yeah, I'll put team 11. I guess you're going to find it. Okay, so let's start. We need to find some correlation between them. The goal is to define a real product. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's 30 seconds.
Yeah, we got only 23.
This is no different from what I typically see. It is always painful. So come back to the main group once you're done. Hello.
Hello.
So how did things go for people? I know in the team I was at, there was a lot of initial confusion with actually taking ownership of the paint.
Our team was not able to get past problems with the board either.
Okay, that's a good. So at least 50% of today's goal has been accomplished. People are experimenting with the virtual reality. That's what you. So let's say if your company, for example, if your company decides to adopt Miro Board for virtual collaboration, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. So.
There may be a consideration with how many users are in at a time, because I'm seeing some real system latency problems.
Could be right.
Our board, we were able to move cards around, but they continued to fall into a line. We could not separate them. Like partial edit capability. It could have been a problem with system users, and so
Terry, I agree with you. That could be system latency because of the number of users and everyone being remote and this thing being in the cloud. We ran the training session last week. We had 10 people in the class, and it wasn't an issue. Of course, the more people you have in the queue, the more the more banging on the board. So,
and of course, I mean, real collaboration. So you're going to have this many people using the board simultaneously? Probably.
You may. So this board could be used in a multifaceted fashion, like something like this. If you have like a global anonymous survey or some sort of a organization-wide retrospective, or like Large Scale Scrum, we sometimes have retrospectives ad hoc, not usually mandated, but across different product areas where you have hundreds of people coming together, then probably this could come handy. Although I would imagine with something like as big as the global retrospective, you would first enter your stuff, and then you would kind of group it together and maybe make it less massive, less overwhelming. So we have, do we have everyone back? I think we have 41 person back. I think that the number is not increasing, so that's how many people are remaining in the queue. So any other questions we can address before people go for the second iteration? Let's do another iteration before we look at the suggested solution. Any questions? All right, see, people are still using. Anyone?
Yeah. Maybe I'll ask a question. Yeah. So we should, as I understood, like if I'm clear with what should be done, so we should make kind of diagram of relationship of these problems. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so the answer is, the short answer is yes. So assuming that all of you, or at least some of you, hopefully one per team, were able to read system modeling page on les.worksite that clearly gives a very explicit description of what system modeling is and gives some examples that I showed. That aside, the goal of the exercise was to actually take these predefined system variables and improvise with them as much as you can, to put them together in some logical sequence with upstream and stream dependencies, with direct and opposite impact, influence, and positive feedback loops. That was all to it. The challenge you probably had was actually finding your board and moving, because there's so many people and so many boards. I suggest maybe taking another 7 minutes to actually play around, see if you can overcome this technical limitation, and then we'll come back together and I will give you the key, so at least you have some recommended solution. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, Dana, let's send people back to the rooms, maybe ad hoc, so people actually maybe we should send people to the same rooms, right? Because people are working together. Go ahead, Dana. Hello.
Dana, you're on mute.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. I'm explaining all the details. Thank you. So I'm going to people, hold on, give me a sec. I'm going to send people into the same room, except for those people who lost their partners. I'm going to move to another room for those people. Everyone else comes to the same room, same team. Right, and they take in 5 minutes.
Let's take another. Hey guys, Dinesh, Igor, you guys are back. Test, hello. Hello. Oh, I'm in a new group now. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello, Jen.
Yeah.
Hey, Dean, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks. Good to see you. I was pulled by Dana into this room. So which board are you? Your board what? Team what? Team 14?
So
14.
Our board is 14, which I had renamed to Ramesh/Samuel.
I'll just look for it. So keep going. If you guys know where you are, I'm just gonna look for it.
So Samuel, you still don't have access, right?
Yes, when I try to access, it's disconnected from Zoom. I don't know why. Maybe technical issues.
Okay, so you're not on the board. And Bola,
yes.
Bola, you're on mute. Well, nice talking to you. Okay, so what I will do is just like last time, I think I need to share so that you can see.
Yes, please share your screen. We're working together.
Okay.
I like how you put, so people are actually renaming the boards, Fred, Bernie, and Rob. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, share. Okay, here it is. So here's our board.
Excellent.
So I'm going to, edit. Oh, come on. Edit. Rename. Okay, so the board has been renamed. Now the question, okay, so this is our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So what will be the next step we need to do is, of course, we need to have proper and clear product definition, right? We need to say that, does it exist?
Let me give you one small tip. It's not a correction, it's just a tip. Don't think of this in terms of steps. It's not a workflow.
Right.
It's a cause and effect relationship. So for instance, goal is such and such. There is a likelihood that real customers and or blah, blah, blah. So that's your way of looking at things. Maybe so. Then, so it's not, the next box would be what could be caused by that likelihood. So you started this right. It's just I'm tweaking slightly your language. It's not a step.
I see.
Yep.
I see. So if we have to say that if there's a likelihood that there will be attempts to define a product from technology perspective, that means it'll generate a predominantly technical backlog with technical component and stories, which will require technical BAs or PO proxies for writing stories.
I'm glad you're saying it out loud. Hopefully Samuel and Bola can give their thinking on this as well. It's a system model. You design it together.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we need to using link hook the real customer and the key user with involved for this. And
oh, sorry, I was at the wrong spot.
Oh,
Go ahead, Samuel.
Let's take second one from bottom to top.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Oops.
Because
sorry.
we need.
Come on, move. Okay. To the top?
Yes.
Okay.
component names will be. I think we need to link all the.
Looks like there's a duplicate here, is it?
Might be not the same. Real key use will be. Yeah, could be double. So maybe
Yes,
something does. So they delete it. And by the way, you are able to create.
Yes.
You're able to create anything on your own, and you can challenge. This is the whole beauty. You can challenge each other. You can challenge me. You can even challenge my solution that I'm going to propose in a minute.
Okay. So go ahead, Samuel. You were going to talk around this one.
No problem. But question in here. It will be building from customer view, right?
Right,
Right,
I think,
Jen?
as Jean described, and
it would be easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we keep on moving the boxes from here to there.
May I ask you something? Dana?
Yeah.
Could you please merge two rooms 5 and 11, because like we're only in 2. We're working in 2, and if you can like merge room number 11 with room number 5.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know if we have another round of this exercise, but if we do, I will make a note of that, of course.
Yeah, I guess it will be the third because we have 3 sessions of 7 minutes.
I think Jean, you are muted.
Is Jean on mute?
Yeah.
Jean, you're on mute.
I am on mute.
You were, now not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was replying to Igor, so unfortunately we don't have a third session option because we ran out of time. So we have only 7 minutes left remaining. So I'm going to try to use them to share with all of you a recommended solution and take the advantage of what I have on the board. Actually, I'm going to take it to this screen and tell me if I'm sharing or not. I'll be sharing my third screen.
Not yet.
Now, it's a little kludgy because it's smaller than, actually it's good enough. It's smaller than the other screen. So now this is a recommended solution, folks, for the causal loop diagram. I'm gonna kind of fast pace myself through it. So this is the system optimizing goal here on the top, right, in red. Can you see me circling it? Mm-hmm. Again, I put it together a little bit in a silo, just thinking this through on my own, but also based on my prior conversations and other similar exercises with other teams and individuals. So my argument is that with this kind of organizational goal, the first variable that comes into play is proper and clear product definition exists. If so, then the next thing would be, let's go this way. Likelihood that real customers and or key users will be involved is much higher. So if this goes higher, this is going to go higher as well, right? It's not the opposite, it's direct. From here, I'm saying seeing value in identifying real product owner is also, this is high, this is going to also be high. So if you have a real product defined, if you have real customers and real internal users involved, your chances of identifying a real product owner, not a surrogate, not a proxy, are much higher. Let's go in a different direction for a minute. A proper and clear product definition exists. It would have the opposite effect. That's why you have the O here. On likelihood that there will be an attempt to define a product from technology perspective. Now, if you don't have a properly defined product, as we typically see in organizations that are almost intoxicated with projects and programs and portfolios without real, no true products involved, then the likelihood of your technical product backlog prevailing are pretty high. So this is bad. I'm sorry, this is great, and this is not so great. So if you have a lot of greatness, you're going to have less of this, which is not great. Now, if you do have, unfortunately, a lot of technology centricity in the backlog, then there's going to be a dramatic effect, and notice this area is thick, on predominantly technical backlogs and technical component-centric stories, and things that are really not really customer-centric being falsely used to define a product. And then if so, then there will be definitely the need for technical BAs and product owner proxies writing stories and being responsible for the backlog, as opposed to a product owner being responsible for the backlog, at least from the standpoint of prioritization. Notice something else which is not on the diagram. This could be a positive feedback loop. If your system has lots of, if your organization has lots of BAs and PO proxies and people that are not really explicitly involved in Scrum, or large scale Scrum for that matter, you may have them dictating how your backlog is going to be shaped, right? Well, we have all these people, how are we going to use them? Well, let them be involved in creating the backlog. So next thing you know, your community defines your backlog. So it's an influence that you rather not see if you are in a product-centric organization. So it's definitely called local optimization. Local optimization. Now from here we can go to likelihood that local optimized component teams will be pretending that they do Scrum. If you have a technical backlog, technical stories, component-centric stories, mostly unlikely you're going to have properly structured feature teams working in a customer-centric way. So if this is not a good thing to have, nor is this a good thing to have, and one leads to another. Okay, and of course, this actually should be a dramatic, probably impact. That's my argument. You can argue back. Likelihood of having local optimization in team structure will lead to high degree of undone work. Undone meaning work that prevents you from going into production. So, and anything that anything that sits in between your definition of done and production deployment is called undone or undone department. We talked about this when we discussed last. So this is not a good thing. And last but not least, here we're going back. We're kind of cycling back on this loop, seeing value in identifying a real product owner. So if you have this is an organizational design problem. It's going to have a dramatic and opposite effect on you being able to identify a product owner. So if you ever come across this problem and see why is it so difficult to find a real product owner? Most likely because of this. Okay, and vice versa is true too. If it's not a product-centric work, you're not going to be able to find a good product owner. And not having this product owner is going to create an empty space and vacuum, and it's going to lead to more and more technical BAs and PO proxies being involved. Okay, so that sums up the system thinking on this subject. Questions? We have a few minutes left.
Yeah, this was a great exercise. I mean, this is what can happen with anti-Scrum practices. An organization not doing it the correct way, and the need for technical BAS PO proxies. Frank and I weren't familiar with this term, but really this is just, you're telling me that this is the tail wagging the dog instead of the product owner driving the ship here with the product. Is that true? Is that
that's a true statement. So you can often see, organizations vary in org design and titles and roles, but you're right. This could be the opposite, or this could be the other way around. The bandwagon carries the horses as opposed to the horses carrying the bandwagon. Your organizational design, if it's not optimized, if it's not optimal, will define availability, your ability to define a real product owner. So this is all systemic. So it's incorrect to consider organizational design being trivial when you are trying to implement even basic Scrum, let alone large scale Scrum, where things just get, all problems get amplified.
Thank you.
And through this exercise, of course, you can explore further and further. And the reason why it's called system design model, because you can expand it to other organizational parts such as HR, operations, procurement, vendor management, et cetera, DevOps, DevSecOps, whatever that other organizational structure you have, and you can see how things interrelate. That was a good point, good question. Okay, guys, so we're at the hour. I know it's lunchtime for many, and you have to go back to your virtual desktops because everyone is virtual these days, right? Hopefully it was somewhere useful. Hopefully we killed two birds with one stone to some extent at least. You got exposed to the Miro board, which obviously isn't not the easiest thing to work with, but it has its power to it. And hopefully you got some some flavor of what a system modeling exercise could look like at your organization. Of course, it's very conditional, very situational from company to company. I'm going to kindly ask you, and just give you a heads up, after this session, I'm going to remove access of people that were that had access to the board. Most likely I'm going to remove the board altogether because now it's just a junkyard. And hopefully for our next session, maybe we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do like story mapping or, something else perhaps, okay? Any questions before we peel off? I'm going.
Yes. What will be next? Like it was the second session of facilitation.
I'm gonna have to improvise. There was no script exactly what I'm gonna do next. Hopefully some ideas will come. There are other options within Miro space, and depending on the what makes sense logically, of course, maybe story mapping, maybe a canvas, using a story mapping canvas to do some sort of product exercise here. In fact, I may even invite some product product design experts. We have some folks on the call, I think. Maybe Ellen.
Actually, may I suggest if people have any specific interest, just type them in the chat so we can review together and see what can be done next.
And since chat is going to go down in a second, people may have ideas. Either post them on the meetup. Probably best to do it there because not everyone knows my email. But go ahead and do that. Just do give your recommendations. We'll try to improvise. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is probably the most favorite technique for me because it helps me expose organizational dynamics, and that's what in large scale Scrum we have to do a lot because it's an organizational design framework. In training and coaching and just day-to-day routine, we do it. But there could be other techniques as well.
Awesome. So, Jim, looks like we're getting lots of votes for user story mapping. I actually have another tool that I've used extensively for user story mapping. So let's see which one would make sense to showcase next.
So can we close down the call now? Do we need? Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I need to figure out how to. I'm going to stop sharing, guys, and I'm going to end the session, and the recording is going to go out. Okay, and hopefully we'll be available.
Bye.
Thank you everyone who joined. Cheers.
Bye.
Mommy. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.